WWE's biggest party of the summer is just a few days away. SummerSlam coming to us live from Cleveland, Ohio this Saturday, and I can't wait. We're going to get into our picks, predictions, and some fantasy booking today on Rumble Rewind.
Let's talk about it.
Well, hey everybody, and welcome to Rumble Rewind. My name is Brandon, and today we are talking about WWE's biggest party of the summer. We've got your picks, predictions, and maybe even a little fantasy booking right here as we prepare for SummerSlam live from Cleveland, Ohio this Saturday. I can't wait. It's not your typical 5-match PLE. We're getting 7. Merry Christmas in August, everybody. Let's go. All right, before we jump into those predictions, though, do me a quick favor. Scroll down below this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We're closing in on our first goal of 200 subscribers. We'll be giving away some CM Punk merch when we get that to one lucky subscriber. Make sure you're eligible by hitting that subscribe button. Also, if you want to stay up to date on all things regarding that and never miss an upload from Rumble Rewind, make sure you turn on your post notifications while you're there, and you'll be the first to know when we drop new content. All right, without further ado, let's dive into our picks, predictions, fantasy booking. Here we go. We'll start with the United States Championship match. Logan Paul defending against LA Knight. Yeah. Anyway, Logan Paul is a part-timer, but putting the United States Championship on him has done some great things for the WWE. The whole point of putting the belt on Logan Paul was to kind of bring some of Logan Paul's fans, his brand recognition, towards the WWE, and I think he's done a great job. But at the end of the day, Logan Paul is a part-timer, and the United States Championship has been kind of held hostage for quite some time. It hasn't been involved in any storylines. Logan Paul hasn't really had any actual feuds, just kind of a match here, a match there, until LA Knight. Now, this feud has been going on for quite some time. It's sort of been on again, off again since WrestleMania. This is finally the opportunity that we've been waiting for to see LA Knight go one-on-one with Logan Paul, and the championship is on the line. This is a big match for LA Knight because he has never won singles gold in the WWE, despite being one of the most over superstars that we have. According to WWE2K24, we are getting a new United States champion, and that is LA Knight. And my reaction to this is, yeah, it should be. LA Knight is my pick as well. For Knight, this is a must-win situation. If he doesn't win this match and get this championship, the WWE is kind of telling the fans that it's never going to happen. You know, the fan base is so behind LA Knight, yet he hasn't been pushed. I believe that this is the moment when it's going to happen. LA Knight finally gets a championship. So my pick, officially, LA Knight picks up the win. He gets the championship. Logan Paul is embarrassed in front of his hometown crowd. And that's kind of how it should go. Where we go from here, LA Knight goes on a strong run with that United States Championship. Logan Paul, he takes a break. I see him coming back around Royal Rumble, maybe even entering the Royal Rumble. Tell me your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And new LA Knight. Yeah. All right, let's move on and talk about Bayley versus Nia Jax. Bayley, of course, defending the WWE Women's Championship against Queen of the Ring winner Nia Jax. Now, this one on paper looks like it's going to be a great match. I've actually really been enjoying Nia Jax's work lately. She's been doing great work on the mic. She's looked better and better in the ring, and you know, she's greatly improved. Now, the storyline between her and Bayley hasn't been super interesting because it's basically just been, I want this title, you have this title, here we go. The way Nia got there was by winning Queen of the Ring, which is awesome because it puts more credibility on Nia as a threat, especially given how she was booked prior to that. Bayley, on the other hand, her whole championship reign for me has been, unfortunately, just not great. It hasn't been interesting. It's been kind of boring, to be honest with you. I know that Bayley is better than what they're booking her as right now, but for me, I just feel like her as the champion hasn't really hit. She's great in chase mode. She's kind of the female version of Sami Zayn for me, if you will. We'll talk more about that here in a few minutes. But her championship reign just hasn't been that great. Now, according to WWE2K24, Bayley is going to retain. However, I think that Nia Jax is going to get this win. And here's the reason why. Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton is somehow going to get involved in this thing. she is going to help Nia Jax win because Tiffany is Miss Money in the Bank. There's a story to tell here with Nia being the champion and Tiffany being Miss Money in the Bank. Nia is going to walk around thinking that she's safe, that Tiffany would never cash in on her. She's probably going to help her sneak over to Raw and try to cash in on the Women's World Champion. But the story that's going to be told is the breakup of the friendship between Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax, and Tiffany eventually turning on Nia, cashing in the Money in the Bank. Tell me what you think, though, in the comments below. Do you think I'm right? There's some fantasy booking for you in the future. Nia wins. Tiffany eventually cashes in her Money in the Bank against her BFF to become champion down the road. Again, let me know what you think in the comments below. Would love to know your thoughts on that. Let's move on to the next match, Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. And like I said, Sami Zayn's championship reign for me has been similar to Bayley's. It's just not been interesting. I think that Sami Zayn is much better in chase mode than he is as a champion. On the other side, you've got Braun Breaker. Braun is everything you want in a heel champion. He's dominant in the ring. He's got the look. He's got the attitude. His mic skills, as far as a heel goes, is perfect. And for him to just absolutely demolish Sami Zayn in this match and win the Intercontinental Championship sets him up for both a long run and sets him up to be the guy to take down. Everybody was cheering against Gunther for those 2 years almost that he was the champion. I can see kind of a similar vibe with Braun Breaker. That sets us up for a good feud between him and Ilya Dragunov. And there's plenty of other people on Raw that could feud for that title against a heel champion. That's where I see this thing going. Maybe even Sheamus could come in and feud with Braun for a while. I know that the Intercontinental Championship is still the one that got away so far for Sheamus. He's never held it. It's the only thing standing between him and being a Grand Slam champion. So there's a lot of possible stories and a lot of possible feuds that could happen with a Braun Breaker title reign. So according to WWE2K24, Sami Zayn not only wins this thing, but he won it really fast in like kind of a squash match, which I don't see that happening at all. I've got to disagree with 2K again here and say your winner and new champion, Braun Breaker. Issue with all of this is I've already predicted 3 title changes. I'm sure that I'm going to be wrong on at least one of them. We'll have to see. I really hope it's not that one. All right, let's move on to the next match, and that is Damian Priest defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther. Now, this feud has heated up pretty well over the course of time that they've had. Of course, they've only had 3-4 weeks to really build this thing up, and they've done a really, really great job of making this more than a King of the Ring winner versus the current champion. It's really kind of gotten personal over the last few weeks, and especially this past Monday on Raw. Gunther and Finn Balor had a match. Gunther beat him by submission, but then refused to release the hold, which brought Damian Priest out and a brawl happened. And it's been really, really well done, this build up, this feud over such a short period of time. Now, this story for me has so many different ways that it could go. And it all surrounds the story, the ongoing story with the Judgment Day. Where do we go from here with the Judgment Day? Where does Finn Balor fall into all of this? Where does the rest of the Judgment Day fall into all of this? So I could see somehow the Judgment Day either helping Damian Priest to retain and him getting very frustrated and upset about that, or the Judgment Day turns on Damian Priest and costs him the match. The problem with that is we've also got Rhea and Liv happening, and we don't want to give away one or the other depending on where they fall on the card. So there are some things that make this Judgment Day storyline a bit confusing because of how interwoven all these different stories are. So short answer here, I think Damian Priest retains at SummerSlam and Gunther picks up the win and the championship down the road, probably at Bash in Berlin. I think that Damian's going to retain in some kind of crazy way with some interference somehow that's going to continue to push the Judgment Day fall apart storyline down the road. According to 2K, Damian Priest is going to win and retain, and again, I have to agree with that. I think that's what's going to happen here, and Gunther gets his title reign a little later. I'm not sure exactly when, probably at Bash in Berlin, but we'll have to see. All of that depends on, again, what happens with the Judgment Day. I do think that we're going to get a Finn Balor-Damian Priest rivalry feud here soon. The only question is it going to be for the championship or will it just be a straight blood feud? We'll have to see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move on. Let's go to Drew McIntyre taking on CM Punk with Seth freaking Rollins as the special guest referee. Now, there's been a lot of comments and a lot of thoughts on whether or not Seth Rollins should have been added into this feud at all. And I tend to agree. I would have loved to see this as a pure one-on-one match for the first one. But I do think that there were some uncertainties with CM Punk and his health. If he was going to be cleared by SummerSlam, all of those questions remained until I believe sometime last week, which meant that they needed to be able to pivot somehow in some way. Bringing Seth into that gave them the option to do this special guest referee match, pivot to a one-on-one with Seth versus Drew somehow, or do a triple threat if Punk was cleared but wasn't sure he was going to be able to do the full match. It gave him some options. Did it muddy the waters? Absolutely. Did we need Seth Rollins as the referee of this match? No, we did not, but I do think it was a safety net, and now this is where we've landed because Punk is in fact cleared, and we should get a really good match out of these two. Now, according to 2K24, Drew McIntyre is going to get this win. I'm not so sure. I think that it's gonna be CM Punk somehow. Storyline-wise, it would make sense for Drew to get his pound of flesh because CM Punk has screwed him over so many times. Business-wise, on the larger scale, I think CM Punk needs this win. Punk needs to show the world that he's still got. Punk needs to show the WWE that he's still got. Punk needs to show everybody that he is still capable of putting on an incredible match. And so that's what we need from this. I think Punk needs to win, and I think Punk will win somehow. Whether Seth Rollins gets involved or it's straight up win. On 2K24, Seth Rollins was actually a very fair down the middle referee. I don't think we're going to see that happen. I think Seth's going to get involved somehow, and I think his goal is going to be to screw over Punk. But the question is, does he successfully screw over Punk? Or does he try to take out Punk, accidentally take out Drew, and is forced to count to 3? That's the way I see this thing going. I think Punk wins with a lot of shenanigans. Tell me your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win? And how do you see Seth Rollins getting involved? Let's move on to the next one. It is WWE Women's World Champion Liv Morgan defending her title against Rhea Ripley. Now, this is Liv Morgan's revenge tour. She has been killing it lately. Killing it in promos, killing it on the mic. She's done a great job of making this feud feel like a feud, despite the fact that Rhea Ripley's only been back on TV for the last few weeks. Over the course of time, while Rhea was gone, Liv kept this thing hot. She kept the feud going. Now that Rhea's back, honestly, I still kind of think that Liv is carrying it. Rhea's promos have been okay, but Liv really has been the reason why this thing is so interesting. Her promo on Monday night, where she was burning all of Dominic Mysterio's stuff, where she was crying. It was incredible. If you didn't see that episode, you can check out this video, my Raw recap. I talk about it a little bit in there as we talk about sort of some of the big stories and big moments from Monday Night Raw. Check it out. Anyway, Liv has been carrying this thing, and honestly, I don't think that this story is over. To borrow a phrase from Roman Reigns, I think this story isn't about the third inning. There's a lot more story to tell with Liv and Rhea, with Dominic, with the Judgment Day. All of these pieces are very interesting. For me, though, if Rhea wins this, it kind of ends the whole story of the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. It shuts it down, and then everybody just sort of moves on. On the other hand, if Liv wins it, especially with some shenanigans, if Liv wins it, there's more story to tell. Does Dominic help Liv win on purpose or on accident? We know that there's connection between Liv and Finn Balor. Months ago, we saw them getting out of a car together, and that hasn't really been addressed since then. We saw Finn take Liv's hotel key from another backstage segment a few weeks ago, and that hasn't been addressed as well. So there's so many things that can happen here, but I think Liv has to win to keep the story going. So, according to 2K24, she does. 2K24 says Liv retains. I think the same. I think Liv retains with shenanigans, with help from somebody. I would love to see it be with help from Dominic, just to continue this ambiguous, is Dominic Team Liv or is he just an idiot? Both of them are equally plausible at this point. But I would also love to see Finn Balor just full turn against the Judgment Day and help Liv retain. pulls JD McDonough with him, and then we get a Judgment Day sort of Civil War situation, which I think would make for really good storytelling. Let me know in the comments what you think, who's going to win this match, and how's it going to go down. All right, let's move on to what I assume will be the main event of the evening, and that is Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against Solo Sikoa. Now, this match has got people all over the place. There's some predicting that Solo wins it, some predicting that Cody wins it. Many say that Solo shouldn't even be in this match in the first place. But I gotta say that over the last few weeks or months since Roman lost at WrestleMania, Solo has stepped up, honestly. I mean, think back to the SmackDown after WrestleMania. He brought out Jimmy Uso and took him out. He brought Tama Tonga in. Then he brought in Tongaloa, which, that one wasn't as good. But then when he brought in Jacob Fatu, everything really changed. This bloodline became the dominant faction that they're supposed to be. It's been all leading up to a moment like this. It has been making the point that Cody Rhodes' friends are not safe from the bloodline, that Cody's not safe from the bloodline, that they are, in fact, dangerous. Here's the deal, though. I don't really see the title changing hands at this point, but at the same time, heavy rumors and heavy speculations have been that Roman Reigns is going to come back. There's going to be the bloodline civil war. It's going to be Roman versus Solo to become the tribal chief. And that's always been kind of based around the WWE Championship. When Solo came out that first SmackDown after WrestleMania, the point was Roman lost the championship, so he's no longer fit to be the tribal chief. And that's kind of the situation. With all that, if Solo's not the WWE champion, then how is he going to possibly be the tribal chief? So I still am stuck on this whole thing. I think that Roman is going to come back. I think that there's going to be a feud between him and Solo for control of the bloodline. I think The Rock is somehow at some point going to get involved in all of that. Jimmy probably come back. Maybe even Sami Zayn comes and fills out that other side of the bloodline. So many possible stories, but if we're just talking about SummerSlam, which way is it going to go? Here's the thing. WWE2K24 had this thing going to a draw. Yes, a double countout. Maybe there's something to that. Who knows? Maybe it's a Roman comes back, everybody starts throwing hands, and all of a sudden the match gets thrown out. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that's not the case. I would hate to see that as the finish of a main event at a PLE. It doesn't make for good TV. Fans are going to rage harder than they raged against the Pat McAfee DLC pack on WWE2K24. It's bad. Anyway, I don't want it to be a draw. That's what 2K thinks. Personally, I think that somehow, some way, Cody Rhodes is going to retain. It's kind of his whole thing, right? Coming back against the odds, beating everybody. I mean, he won at WrestleMania in a Bloodline rules match when everybody was allowed to interfere. He had help. And the point of the whole beatdowns by the bloodline is to say he's not getting help this time, but he probably is. I could see Roman being there, obviously helping Cody, not to help Cody, but to hurt Solo. I could see KO coming back. I could see Randy Orton coming back. There's so many possibilities of how Cody gets out of this thing alive, and I think at the end of the day he does. So my official prediction after all of that rambling is that Cody Rhodes retains the WWE Championship and Roman returns to punch Solo in the face. Tell me your thoughts though. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And what is Roman Reigns' involvement, if any, going to be? All right, that is kind of how I see all the matches going. There's a couple of things that I think are worth throwing out, and I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments. One, the Wyatt Six. Personally, I felt a little slighted that the Wyatt Six Alpha Academy match wasn't added to SummerSlam. Do you think there's going to be anything from the Wyatt Six at SummerSlam? Personally, I lean towards no. They built this thing up to be a big match on Raw for the Monday after SummerSlam. I don't think we're going to see much, if anything, from the Wyatt Six. PLEs lately haven't had a ton of backstage segments. They haven't had a lot of promos outside of the matches. PLEs lately have just been focused on the matches, and that's kind of it. I also think that if Roman Reigns is coming back, we're not going to get any other big returns, because we don't want the Roman Reigns return to overshadow those. So I don't see Alexa Bliss showing up at SummerSlam. I don't see Charlotte Flair coming back. There's been all these speculations on who could return at SummerSlam, and honestly, I think it's just Roman Reigns, and that's kind of it. Maybe Jimmy Uso is with him, maybe Paul Heyman's with him, but probably nothing there. So I don't think that we're going to get anything from the Wyatt Six, but I felt like I should bring it up. If you think they're going to be involved somehow, let me know in the comments. Would love to know your thoughts on that. The other thing to talk about real quick, of course, is Tiffany Stratton and Miss Money in the Bank. Now, we talked about it briefly earlier as it related to Nia Jax and Bayley, but what if she cashes in on Rhea or Liv? Walk with you. Liv wins the match, right? Somehow she retains. Rhea gets angry and absolutely demolishes Liv after the match. Tiffany cashes in, becomes Women's World Champion. I don't see it happening, but I just figured I'd throw it out there. Anyway, the more I think about that, the more I kind of like it, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Well, that is it for my picks, predictions, and random little side trails. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Where do you agree? Where do you disagree? While you're down there, do me a favor, hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Turn on your post notifications so you never miss an upload. All of those are completely free, super helpful ways to support the channel, and we really appreciate it a lot. If you enjoy this content, you want to keep on talking about what's going on in the WWE, check out one of these videos right here. Like I said, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a bit today on Rumble Rewind. We'll see you on the next one.